Hi guys, how you doing? All right. I just wanted to give you guys some recommendations about a recent trip that I took to Istanbul. Genuinely, I had an amazing time. All the people I met were incredibly friendly. It's a really lovely destination for tourists, for families. I was able to relax there. It's just I really, really enjoyed it. There was so much to see and do. However, I wanted to share with you a couple of pieces of advice that might make your trip a little bit easier. Firstly, when you're bringing currency into Turkey, my honest advice is probably bring pounds or UK pounds in cash into the country and exchange while you are there to Turkish lira. And I say this because if you withdraw money on your cash card like I did, particularly if you withdraw money at the airport, there's a really big commission. I tried to withdraw, or I did withdraw around about £200. And basically, I ended up paying more than £30 in charges to the bank. That was absolutely ridiculous. And then, of course, the same thing happened to me when I was in the city as well. I was charged an 8% commission on my withdrawal. And, this took away a lot of my money. And I felt I was giving at least 60 or £70 during the trip to banks, which doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So, I guess I wasn't really prepared. And of course, I fell for that. If I'm going to give you some good advice, it's regarding using a mobile phone in Turkey. When you try and use your phone from the UK, if you're going to go roaming, Turkey is genuinely not included in the list of destinations that you can roam in with a lot of the networks. So basically, calls would have cost me £1.80 a minute, and texts would have cost me 60 pence a text. So I basically went to a company, went with the hotel guy. He accompanied me to the various stores, and we went for the Vodafone SIM. Now, basically, you give your phone, or they open up your iPhone. They take your old SIM card and keep that safely for you. Just keep it in your wallet, maybe stick it to the SIM card casing, and you get a Vodafone SIM. Now, I got 20 gigabytes. Now, I'm always on social media. I'm always on Facebook and Instagram, etc. And I was there for about 3 or 4 days, and the 20 gigabytes of data was absolutely fine. And this cost me around about 18 to £20. It's much, much cheaper than spending hundreds of pounds roaming on your UK mobile phone. So this saved me a lot of money. And then, of course, when you go away, you want to go on trips. Now, normally, I'm quite good at these kind of things. Normally, I do a lot of research. I check on the internet. My wife and I wanted to book one of these cruises. So it's like a dinner cruise. They give you like a 3-course meal. You watch Turkish belly dancing. You watch a show. And you have a cruise on the river for about 3 or 4 hours. Now, when I was checking all of these cruises online, they're around about 50 or 60 pounds, including alcohol, and they would pick you up from your hotel. They would bring you to the boat and then drop you off in the evening. Now, stupidly, as much as I've been looking at these cruises, I didn't actually go ahead and purchase one. I just thought, okay, let's just see what happens. So on the second day we were there, we visited the Blue Mosque, we visited the Grand Bazaar, and while we were by the Blue Mosque, a gentleman came up to me and basically said to me, cruises, you're interested in cruises? And I said, look, what's the deal? So he took me to this shop that he said that he owned. It was a travel agency. And he sat me down and he showed me this poster from about 10 years ago, advertising this cruise with dinner, with unlimited alcohol, and it looked really, really nice. And he wanted to charge me something like 1,400 lira. And I didn't have that money on me at the time, so we settled on paying a deposit. In the meantime, my wife is really kind of stepping on my toe, telling me not to do it, or stepping on my foot, telling me not to do it. I'm not normally one to listen to these scams, but I went ahead and I booked this cruise. They were going to pick me up from the hotel. So when it came to the evening, I was in the hotel. We got ready. We prepared ourselves to go on this cruise. And some driver came along, and we met this lovely couple from Peckham, and they were telling us about themselves, and we had a good chat, and we drove to the cruise, to the boat. When we got there, they showed their tickets, and they were escorted directly to a table. Everyone was starting eating, and it was all wonderful. In the meantime, we were told to wait by the place where you get the tickets. We were just told to wait there. So we waited there for a while, and then after about an hour and a half, literally of standing there, we were told this wasn't our cruise, and we were driven to another boat. Now, this is where the trouble began. This other boat, we didn't arrive there till about 9:15 at night, and I've got to say, it was absolutely rubbish. The food was just disgusting. We were served these greasy chips, and we literally got full chips and this greasy spring roll. And that was pretty much it. And then we were given like Coke, and I asked about alcohol. And then we had this, I guess, red wine that tasted like vinegar that was absolutely disgusting. And the food was just absolutely diabolical. It wasn't worth £20, let alone £50 or £60 each. So a word of warning is really just if you're going to book a cruise, either book it through the hotel or book it through one of the online websites, because we were absolutely scammed with that. The other thing is the Grand Bazaar. It was incredible to see all of these shops, all of these businesses. Apparently there are 4,000 shops that employ 30,000 people, and it's really, truly incredible. But again, be very, very careful about being scammed. I wanted to get some Turkish delight, and basically this guy started showing me all of these different Turkish delight that I could taste. And then when we agreed on a price that I think was a really big price, and I didn't negotiate, I accepted the first price. And basically, instead of cutting it up into nice little pieces, he just got 3 chunks of this Turkish delight that seemed very chewy and not very pleasant at all, and shoved it in a box. And I ended up spending about £80 for all of this. So again, I would say be careful. If you are going to buy a Turkish delight, make sure you look carefully, make sure you buy something that's pre-packaged, or make sure you see the guy cutting it up, and make sure he doesn't just shove it in a box and charge you a lot of money. And the point that I learned here is, with everything, negotiate. Don't accept the price, the first price. Negotiate a price. Have an idea about what things will be worth. You know, I don't blame people. I know life is pretty tough. I know that in Turkey they're having a rough time at the moment due to the currency depreciation and inflation. You know, the people are absolutely wonderful, and I'm sure the local genuine people are not like this at all, but there are people who take advantage of tourists like myself, and you know what, that sometimes, I guess that tarnishes the experience a little bit. But don't get me wrong, we had an awesome time. My final piece of advice is this Istanbul card. I would highly recommend it. Basically, if you can, do it through the hotel. You pay about probably about £10 each for a card with some credit on that card, and they register it on the internet so that your code that you have as a passenger, you print something out with your COVID pass and code, and that goes into that particular card, if you like. And then you can, each journey then is about maybe 50 pence or 60 pence, and it's a really awesome way of getting around town. So I would highly recommend it. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. And yeah, I enjoyed Istanbul very much, but just be careful about scammers. Thanks, guys.